Welcome back, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for more Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney. And I forgot where we are. That's where we are. Okay, yeah, we're trying to figure out if you's the killer or if he's the killer. I assume you's the killer. Because there was a amount of time where she wasn't there, so. Which makes me sad, because I like her. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Could have done that better. The Judge. September 10th, District Court, Courtroom number 3. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francesca, there's no need to further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor? Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence? Your Honor! Oh! You! Yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would, except that defense attorney has yet to arrive. She is busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Federer and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into that case. Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of these two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. And maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. I've placed all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench. For you. I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they all accounted for. Well, this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian Embassy trial for Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean that evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time. Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I don't really fully understand what today's trial was about. Oh. Don't point that crap at me, just because you don't know anything. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see the knife up close. So we have the knife, the gun, an envelope, and what's this organizer doing here? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that? What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We might as well flip through it too. Alright. Take a look at the things. Look at this. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should. Perfectly. In its entirety, of course, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Macrell was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act, on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rall on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. But the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone else's death in real life. Me neither. See the knife. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? And it's never crossed your mind that using your riding crop for the wrong purpose? A gun. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Cadopian Embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life? How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. Now for the new thing. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun... Alright. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in this case. Oh, I was reading... Ah, crap. Alright. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Mr. Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. It would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. I already did. There's a key, apparently. Look, there's a piece stuck between these pages here. There's the key. It appears to be a key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? The Yatagarasu's key? Detective Bad said something about it earlier. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Cadopian Embassy. The Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. Key gained. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Golden Embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Red. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in there. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this is. Indeed. How do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have not yet answered me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francesca. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. Come save! I have some thoughts. Let's go with this first. Not this. Not this. I clicked on the wrong thing. This. I don't see how that answers my question at all. Every piece of evidence has some secretive aspect about it. Oh, then I demand to know what the secret is to this one. Alright, maybe there is no secret to this one. Okay, anything here. Okay. So it's not in the blood bag, so then... present the key itself. This Yatagasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. That's the knife holder? You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francesca, to see what I mean. It's a knife holder. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yarakasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design to their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yarakasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are, in fact, the one and the same. But that's impossible. Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife a little more in detail. There it is. Blood. It's the weapon that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. The handle and the blade itself both have beautiful designs worked into them. Look, there's even a flower-shaped design in this gold section here. If this hadn't been used as a tool for murder, I'd want it for myself. He seems to be drawn to the embellishments. Alright, wrong side, dang it. I knew it. I gotta remember when they do dialogue on this side. Too bad this isn't mine to give. Alright. I know where I gotta put it, right here at the end. Right... I gotta zoom out. Obviously. There it is. Right there. Yup! I can't believe it turned into a key. Switchboard, to think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Arakarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. The key is also the knife. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. What if that's true? Then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick would have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. Then maybe Mr. L really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that the only possible scenario? No, not really. Especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, but when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. I see. Alright then. I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Knife key. Key knife. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rel committed the murder. Where could it have gone, indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, were you derelict of your duties? What? No! I did not neglect my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial, the surveillance video, is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene? The TV. There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I'll have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number 2. Yeah, it's right there. It's in the TV. I knew that TV would be relevant. What the hell is this guy? Is this him? Is this supposed to be that guy? It can't be that. Is it really that guy? That's Detective Bad, but who is he with? I've never seen that officer before. So did you find it? So did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Yeah, it's him. So you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? Yeah, it's him. That's what the music's for. What a bitch! What was that all about? And who was that man just now? 7 years later, you made him again. Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. He was originally one of theirs, okay. Does he even know what we're standing right? Does he even know we're standing right behind him? There's a mirror, he knows. I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? It looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. Oh, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, Who's that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zhangfa to study. He's Agent Lang. There it is. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, there's a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy is more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree, however, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt it has nothing to do with me. Huh. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. TV! That is one tiny TV. Detective Gumshoe was rather shocked at this, and said it is huge compared to his own. Anything you compare with something he owns will always seem grandiose. Speaking of grandiose, I'd say that ego of yours could use a little deflating. So we can't interact with the TV yet, okay. I wonder if the killer used those plastic bags in a flash of inspiration. With that, Detective? I somehow doubt he's that quick-witted. So you're saying that this crime was thought out in advance? With that, Detective? I somehow doubt he's capable of making such a complex plan. Francesca, when will you learn to take responsibility for your statements? Okay, you just talk to Bayard. I suppose it's impossible to enter or exit through these windows thanks to these bars. Well, there's a tunnel behind the TV, right? I suppose you're right. Actually, that's not true. I bet a person of small stature could slip in. Francesca, would you care to help me test my theory? Rat, I must remember to be more tactful around the vertically challenged. Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy? You'll see I will draw my answers from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Please, we're asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. I'm the murder. We'll present the knife next. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything? You should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try something. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Mr. Bad. Present? I figured we'd present the knife, but I didn't think it'd be yet. Okay. Key. Detective Bad. Do you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same? What? That's impossible. It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? Lollipop. I'm guessing if that's not the real thing, then the cigarette's in his fingers? I guess so. I like it better that's a lollipop, it's so silly. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for. Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Mr. Faraday. I promised that I'd protected that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad? So that we may find the truth, please, testify for me once more. All right. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. Found the murder. Detective Bad? I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case. Battle! Sorta. Detective Bad's movements. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway here together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. It sounds like the exact same story you told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have to draw out all the information that we can. Bad's movements. Race. Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me! Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together, that's all. So his answer remains the same as before, I see. I was hoping you would expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on, then. Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds until the gunshot. If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, I would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. So the balloon, right? Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else? Yeah. Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something? I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes on around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it. The balloon. I suppose that with this detective, that's probably very likely. So the gunshot. And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away? Because we were clearly heard the sound of a gunshot. And we knew it came from somewhere nearby. And how did you know that it was a gunshot? In my line of work, you hear enough of them to know. I suppose it's only natural for the detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like. But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was.
Hold it!
Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway? Yeah. Why didn't you attest to that earlier? When I saw Gumshoe, it was after I had heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed. Sounds exactly like what Detective Bad told us before, however. Is there something in particular we should be asking the detective about? There just might be. No one knew that the knife was actually the Yatagarasu's key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things we know now, but Detective Bad doesn't yet. Yes, that should be my angle of attack. That means he wasn't present for the balloon, then. Or this is the balloon he heard. Come save. Present balloon. Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you know about that girl's balloon? Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh, so the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway when you were in the lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at the time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? Don't give me a so! We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete crackling. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What is that supposed to mean? They're soundproofed enough. The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then you mean... Since you always shut up inside lobby number 1, there is no way I could have heard that sound. No! I knew that's what he was going to say. And that means that Scuffyface's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of struggle. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around. The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if we were in lobby number 1. However, we'll examine the situation in reverse. A person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. Yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Then how come they could hear it? Okay, what? Detective Bad? If that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh? How so? The windows are open, so the sound's there. If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does this all boil down to? It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how the detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot. They theoretically couldn't have. It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh? The state of the crime scene? Wait, can it be? It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. Ugh! And way too noisy! Very loud TV. Looks like it was set to incredibly high volume. Oh, there it is. The surveillance video? Oh, the gunshot from the surveillance video! How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Oh, yeah, the tape is in the TV. I'm figuring it all out. They heard, that's why the windows are open. The windows are open so they could hear this fake gunshot from the video. Ah! Okay, alright, that's the reasoning. These are different things. The TV and the evidence are together. The smell is cut between these two because she could be smelled through the window. The window's open, they heard the sound through the window. That's what it is. Okay, we got it. And looking at the time, we will do all that next time. So that right there is the game for now. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. Ooh, it really ramped up all of a sudden, didn't it? Damn.